Hey, it's Fort Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
And welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
sex.
Today's topic is your sexual fitness level.
Yes. It's critical.
Which I think is a great phrase.
Well,
because,
thank you.
Because it's something that's not talked about, but being overweight and out of shape has a huge impact on people's sex lives.
Man.
It has a huge impact on three things, really. People's sex lives.
Yeah.
Their quality of life.
Yes.
And national defense.
Yes.
Which is really strangest, craziest triple play you'll ever see.
Yeah.
But they're all very real.
Yes,
you know.
absolutely.
Let's talk about sexual fitness first.
Okay.
Because you're the specialist in this. In the sex realm. You know. What's going on with people's level of sexual fitness?
Well, with sexual fitness, if you can't, I think the general rule of thumb is if you can't climb a flight of stairs without getting out of breath, you are not fit sexually. You're not fit to have sex because this is a rigorous activity if you're doing it well, and you genuinely are not fit enough to engage in sexual action. Likelihood is, if you can't cross the street at a quick pace or climb a flight of stairs at a normal pace, you also can't find your dick, can't get it up to even jack off, can't find a hole with it because it doesn't get hard. All kinds of health concerns come into play at a very low amount of fat in your body. You know, make no mistake, people love to pretend that the word obese indicates my 600-pound life. For women, it could be 20 to 30 pounds over the norm. For men, it could be as little as 40 to 60 pounds over the norm. It takes very little to have a huge negative impact on your sexual health. It's genuinely a dangerous thing to be overweight. And we say this all the time, our eyes are so skewed anymore as to what constitutes being even overweight. Overweight now looks average to especially the American eye. And now, you know, people are about ready to institutionalize anyone who is actually genuinely a healthy weight, because now it looks too skinny. It looks too lean. And people are concerned about that, where they're not concerned and they're cheering on the obese.
It's truly insane. 90% of the U.S. and the CDC plays us down.
Yeah.
And if you don't think they'll play down statistics, just look at what happened with COVID.
Yeah.
You know? They will manipulate statistics to serve their needs. You can't tell a country that they have 90% obesity because there'll be an insistence that things change. There'll be social stigmas. There'll be legislation. They'll fine people. Everything that they go, there's no solution. It's been done in Japan.
Yeah.
You know, they turned it around using a number of methods, you know, including finding corporations that their people were overweight.
Uh-huh.
You know, but that's not the point here. The point is that 90% of the U.S. is overweight. We see it every day in the gym and having weight loss business,
right,
you know, for the last 20 years.
And just being fitness people.
Yeah. Our eyes didn't get skewed because of where we're at.
Yeah.
But it slowly changed. I mean, because you'll see a girl that's 20 or 30 pounds overweight now, and she just looks normal. And she doesn't feel like she really has any issues.
She's truly at maximum capacity.
She's 30 pounds overweight, you know, and you're like, well, that's not average. She should be like half that size.
Right.
30 pounds off of a girl who's like 5'5" is
that's
a significant.
Lot.
But they look normal.
Yeah.
They look normal because they don't have a belly hanging over.
Right.
You know, but they will. So what becomes, I mean, of course you start thinking that being fat is normal because 90% of the people are. We're outliers.
Right.
You know, I mean, you even, and this is what's really caught me in the last 5 years is even people in the military are fat.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
Because I always say, if you don't believe that 90% of the population is overweight or obese, go to the mall, go to the airport,
go to Walmart,
go anywhere, go to Target. It just depends. But this is because of the guys that like will respond. They'll be like, "Oh, it can't be that high," and I'll go, "Well, what do you do?" Well, I'm in college and I live in San Diego and I'm in the ROTC program and I like to go out on Saturday nights and get ripped.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, these are the places. If you're in fitness business,
yeah,
if you're in the military, if you're homo, if you live in Colorado, or if you live in an affluent coastal city,
yeah,
you will not see this
as much.
It doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right.
And so that's who usually responds because they don't believe it, but everybody else knows.
Or that all their friends work out, so everyone
think,
must.
yeah. I mean, we're as guilty as anybody about that. We think no one works out.
No.
Literally no one.
Yeah.
Less than 1% of the U.S. population exercises consistently.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they don't have gym memberships.
Has nothing to do with it. And even that's still 1%.
Yeah, it's
or
very
less.
small. But to drive the point home, and I think to connect the dots even of what you've just said, if you're obese, you get a woman pregnant or your obese wife gets pregnant, you pass that genetic information of obesity to that baby. So by you being selfish and not taking care of yourself, and it truly is a selfish thing to do this, you are weakening not only your child, not only yourself, you're weakening your child, you're even passing genetic information on to your grandchildren, your grandchildren's children. This does not stop. So because you insist on going through the drive-thru and having 3 Big Macs a day, or whatever the fuck your splurge is, or not moving your body, because you want to eat what you want to eat and you don't like to exercise and you don't really like to sweat, or you think walking your dog while playing on your fucking phone is exercise. Because of all of that, you actually are weakening your genetic pool for generations to come. You're creating an environment of weak people. So whatever your last name is, if you're a Smith, you're making weak, unhealthy Smiths for generations to come. And they only get weaker and less healthy as the generations go on, unless somebody works really fucking hard to turn it around. So the best thing that you can do is actually get a hold of it on the front end. If you want to have children someday, get your health in order first before you or your wife or your girlfriend or whatever get pregnant. Start having children, period.
And another thing, and don't date fat girls.
Right.
They're not going to lose it.
Yeah.
These guys, guys reach out to us all the time. They're like, "Hey, my girlfriend, when I met her, she was overweight, but I'm really active. How do I get her in the gym?" What a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
We cover all this, but you want somebody that's already running.
Yeah.
You want somebody, and I mean running in the sense that they already have the habits.
Right.
Because instilling them, and Bunny pointed this out to me, and I was in my 50s, and I should have known better by then. She said, girls that are fat, that lose weight,
yeah,
they tend to gain it back.
Yeah.
Because any stressful period or happy period,
either
doesn't
way.
matter. Yeah, because I get girls that come in, they're 40 pounds overweight, and they're like, "Well, I started dating and I've never been happier, but all we do is eat and drink."
Yeah.
Or I went through a breakup and I can't stop eating.
Yeah.
It doesn't
and
matter.
Drinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So that's the real deal. And then when we talk about like national defense,
Yes. Huge.
2 things. Who did Corona affect the most?
Right.
Overweight and obese people. They couldn't fight it off.
No.
And then
They're not healthy enough to.
Were not healthy, and no one ever mentioned it. In fact, they closed my gym.
Yeah.
It was the first thing they closed.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm driving by open liquor stores and pot shops and
bars,
you know, and fast food joints, but the gym's closed.
Yeah.
Because it's a danger. You know, I mean, but it was affecting overweight because overweight people are susceptible to disease because they don't have any immune system.
And for those of you who are overweight, who still have excellent blood work, we don't want to hear it because your blood work is probably being manipulated by the prescription drugs you're on.
Exactly.
But the national defense
is how much work you can output. I mean, it puts us, one, it makes us susceptible to germ and chemical warfare.
Yes.
And biological warfare. It makes us susceptible because it doesn't take a lot. And
No.
two, it takes us longer to run up to get the manpower that we need because these guys, especially nowadays, they're either overweight and can't get in or they're in such bad shape they get injured in training.
Right.
And we're talking like things that you used to never see, which was like broken legs just from the stress fractures. You know, I mean, really strange injuries that have only cropped up in the last 10 years due to a lack of base fitness.
Yeah.
Where kids would run around and then carrying too much weight. It doesn't take much extra weight.
It doesn't.
The good news is the military is extremely good about getting people into shape.
Sure.
You know, but it takes longer when you're further out to get, you know, well, basically combat ready, you know,
Yeah.
for security and safety.
But wouldn't you say that our country was at more of a state of being genuinely, as a nation, combat ready 50, 60 years ago?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
now we are incredibly susceptible to being completely taken over.
And
destroyed.
again, it's not even like the boots on the ground. You don't have to worry about like somebody coming on shore.
Right.
It's more like biological,
Yeah.
chemical, germ, you
Absolutely.
know, where people are susceptible because their immune systems are so weak. And then once they are actually sick, they can't recover.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, bring national security even into your home. We're going to take this one more step because this is such an important topic. If you are laying in bed with your wife, she's 30 pounds overweight and you're 50. You aren't sleeping well, so you have to use a sleep apnea machine. You're laying in bed, strapped up to this machine. It's running. They're apparently quite noisy. You've got your sleep apnea machine. Maybe your fat wife has a sleep apnea machine too. And there's a threat to your family. If you are overweight and don't move in your day-to-day life, do you think that you're going to jump up out of bed and respond with vigor and fight off and don't say you have guns? Because you can't fucking get to your guns. You want to know why? Because you're tangled up in a sleep apnea machine and you can't move to get out of bed to get them, or you trip because you don't have any spatial awareness because you don't move your fucking body. It is a danger to the protection of your family for you to be unhealthy and overweight. So all of this, I get all worked up. All of this plays into your sex life. You can't have a high quality sex life for a long and wonderful lifetime if you are not healthy, trim, fit, eating good fuel,
In condition.
and conditioning your body.
And it's absolutely mind-blowing how fast you can get into shape.
Yeah.
Literally within weeks.
Well, like we talk about, I mean, it's a misnomer because we're in the industry, but literally doing anything the first 2 years works. I mean, that's the secret that no fitness person tells you.
No, we can't tell you that because we charge a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, literally anything works.
Right.
And it works really well. I mean, we have a system. We have systems
Oh, yeah, we do.
to move you from weak to strong, from fat to lean, which accelerates the process and keeps you injury free. I mean,
Right.
there's reasons we are compensated, and we also make sure you make it through the process.
Yeah.
You would be floored at how fast you look better, you feel better, your body feels better,
Better balance, better stability.
greater work capacity.
Oh, yeah.
You're literally a new person really quick. 12 weeks is like the starting point.
Yeah.
You know, we always say that's just, but the difference between that person in 12 weeks is it's literally like night and day.
Right.
You know, it's always a process. It's a process for people that have been training 40 years. You
Right.
know,
Exactly.
my goal is always to make it in the gym tomorrow.
It
You know
doesn't
what
get
I mean?
easier. You just get stronger.
Yeah, you get better at it. You learn more tricks to the trade.
Yeah.
You know how to get yourself there. But you know, that's a whole different, you know, motivating yourself to get in there is a whole different podcast.
Right.
Getting started. But we just wanted you to know that it goes beyond just shaming or
Right.
just, you know, hey, she's fat. There's a lot of reasons that mentally you're repulsed by that, and I can't think of a better, more polite word.
That's a good word.
But it's deeply genetic because it's not a good idea to replicate that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So,
And I will say, no brag, just fact. We're fitness people. We've each been fitness people since we were each 14. I mean,
Yeah.
literally a lifetime. He's 55, gonna be 56 soon. I just turned 45. We have sex at least daily, at a minimum. We have sex upwards of 3 or 4 times a day as time and you know, ability allows, without any problems, without any physical problems that keep us from that. We're fitness people. We eat good foods. We take care of our bodies. Now, I find, and we've talked, that maybe that's not of interest to you, to have sex 3 or 4 times a day. Maybe you don't want to have that much time devoted to sex. Or maybe it's because you don't want to take care of yourself in order to be able to have sex 3 or 4 times a day if you wanted to. So just kind of keep these things in mind. If you like fishing more than you like sex, is there a reason for that? Is it because you know you couldn't? Or is it because you really would prefer a fish suck your dick? I don't know. This is an important topic to me because at the end of the day, I want you to have a really strong sexual relationship.